right, so we are jumping into episode 5. This is another random recap. Ronnie doing it solo, but that's okay. Let's talk about it. Let's have this conversation. This is episode 5. Loving what Paramount's doing. Evidently, Arissa, is not. Arissa leaves. That's an impression. Lots of people have things to say. What's interesting, though, is Beth takes the time to say that, she's intimidating, and that's why it happened. And sometimes you just gotta love Beth being Beth. She has been doing this since 1993 or 4 when the Venice season of The Real World was out. She's always put her foot in her mouth, so nothing is different here. Not that she put her foot in her mouth by saying she's intimidating and Arissa left because of that. It's just like Beth is so silly. You know what I mean? That's like the point. Beth is very silly. No, she's not intimidating, but it is fun. And I'm happy that she's happy. We also learned that she has a developing friendship with Cyrus, like a connection, that goes beyond the show. I think that's very important. I think you got to have somebody who you strategically play the game with, who outside of the show, outside of filming, TV, and competition, and it's a lovable thing. Obviously a bit of a foreshadowing, but still seems like Cyrus has Beth's back and Beth has Cyrus's back, which I like. And I think Cyrus is a really great character for the season. Hisela, though, in the romance department, she reflects that she doesn't remember Alton. My thing is I feel like you would have at least remembered him. Now was she saying she didn't remember him, she didn't know who he was, or that she doesn't remember him from the challenge? Either way, I feel like you had to remember him, but she says she doesn't, and I guess she's going to be making up for lost time. This is what it's going to be. She's going to have a little bit of a flirtation. She feels like this is a good vibe, and you're out there. If she's single, he's single. If they are both single, this definitely works out. We move into a men's elimination. It's no Lifesaver, which is interesting because I feel like we just had Lifesaver. Now we don't have Lifesaver. I've always said when I recap the challenges, I don't like when too much movement happens. I know in theory you're always supposed to expect the unexpected, but I was just like, oh, okay, now there's no Lifesaver, but there was before. They're just always shaking stuff up. Not my favorite, but I know a lot of challenge fans do enjoy that type of thing. We have a version of a mini challenge, basically connecting all of the checkpoints together. There's the checkpoint 1 and 2, but then they do eventually go solo. I like that because if it was all solo, then we kind of see who does what. But doing checkpoints with somebody else, it really just opens up a place for somebody to blame someone else. And wouldn't it be the challenge if we couldn't blame somebody else for your mistake? And I say that just across the board, not necessarily to anybody. So right now, men's elimination, I feel like this is actually kind of fun. So we have the 2 teams, which is the Copper team, Big Easy, Katie. Ooh, stellar off the bat. Big Easy, Katie, Ruthie, Darrell, Anissa, and Mark. We have, this next team is the gold team, Kendall, Derek, Hisela, Latarian, Kellyanne, and Nehemiah. And your silver team is Janae, Yes, Alton, Cyrus, Beth, and Jemmy. So Cyrus says he has a bad ankle, and I can see how that could be a huge challenge. But I guess what's the choice, right? You either not compete or you compete in pain. I just wonder that if you have a bad ankle and you can't actually be mobile, is that something you should be able to use and call out somebody later? I'm not saying Cyrus did that, but I don't know. The whole thing, I want more information. That's all I'm saying. We also know that Beth is feels like she's not finding the right partner. No, not finding the right partner. She actually isn't finding the right partner. She's as confused as I just said that sentence, but nonetheless, Beth is going to be Beth, and I guess Ronnie's going to be Ronnie. And then also we have Katie and Big Easy struggling at the memory board. That becomes dramatic. This is what we're talking about. This is why a second ago when I was announcing the teams and I said Big Easy and Katie, I says, oh, yes, this is a lot of fun, a lot of havoc, a lot of huckleberry. Just the 2 of them and their short fuses. Whether Katie's grown or not, it's just always sort of a little bit of a thing. Anyways, so our checkpoints, we have a puzzle. We have the wood. You have to carry the wood and the memory board. To me, these are great challenges, kind of run right in the middle. but enough to sort of make the teamwork aspect of it challenging, which can kind of see who's good in your team and who's not good in your team. So, as another note, we have Cyrus and Alton. They're in third place basically from the beginning. Mark's team reaches the second checkpoint first, which means they're just pretty much a badass team. And Mark looked like a badass. Like Mark, because he's the tallest guy, the oldest guy, like something about him with his team, and they all had to carry the thing of wood. It just felt like they were in control. That's kind of like the difference. Whereas where Cyrus and Alton, it was the ankle, and it was also Alton's issue. But like it was a lot of challenges, and yeah, I mean, at this point of the part of the competition, I don't know what I think. Obviously, we'll get to it in a minute when they have a bit of a falling out. But at this point, I'm like, oh, I guess, they're just struggling. And that's okay, too. At the final checkpoint, we've got Latarian and Kendall, Derek and Kellyanne, which will make your winners Latarian and Kendall. And, that's kind of like a big whoop, whoop, whoop for the Road Rules crew, which I didn't think about. But, yeah, like Road Rules is dominating, and Road Rules should do good. And I will say that I'm excited for Paramount Plus to do the new Road Rules, which have been announced. I don't know where they're at with that, but I feel like that's something I would like to watch too. It almost makes me ask though, would they do a Road Rules like Allstars too? Or is it just Road Rules new cast members? Either way, Road Rules was a fun show. I do honestly favor Real World to a degree because I like the storytelling. But that's the old Real World. The newer Real Worlds were just, hot tub and hot stuff. But yeah, I am excited to see all of what Paramount does. I think so far so good. I keep saying that. The song that was being played was Mo Money, Mo Problems, Biggie, Mason, Puffy. I don't know why. I think that's a great song for this soundtrack. I think I've mentioned that all of the songs are really great for the soundtrack. And they're playing them at the right times. They don't always do that, but this one, to me, was played at the right time in the show. So now that we're kind of through with this, and we're kind of talking about what the next step is, Cyrus is in last place, and he's pissed. And, Beth feels bad because they were sort of together for such a good duration that, she sort of caused, she just feels bad. She feels bad. Cyrus talks with Alton, and Cyrus says that Alton sabotaged him, which is, I just like, again, I felt for Cyrus, but if your ankle's an issue and Alton's kind of dragging ass, shouldn't it be a separate situation? Like, it just felt, okay, what I'm trying to say is it felt like it all got tense. It got like how when you're dealing with your own thing, and then the next person has something, like you're just putting your what do they call it, deference? You're like putting all of it on Alton. I didn't know how Alton would handle it. I like the way Cyrus talks like he's a villain or like a wrestler. Like, you sabotaged me. Like, I was like, I don't remember Cyrus speaking like that, but that was fun. And Alton, I think did hold his own back, which was pretty cool. Which, kind of sets up the energy of just what's going on, Although anytime that they talk and they're talking outside overlooking the lake, I think it's just such a peaceful vibe. So it didn't feel that tense. It actually felt more peaceful than it did feel, dramatic. But it sets up the energy, that's for sure. Cyrus, he's saying what he's going to do, and Alton is going to, have to do what he has to do. And that's what it is. So deliberation, though, I think, me personally, Ronnie, this is my opinion, I think there was great points all around. And I think that, everyone was making some type of argument, and it wouldn't have led to being a unanimous decision, Alan, but before that, Alton doesn't shake Cyrus's hand, before we even get to the deliberation. And I think, as I said, it's a beautiful overlooking the lake, but at the same time, like, this is coming back from deliberation, rather. Coming back from deliberation, this is how Alton feels. But, like, they made a big deal about it, but at the same time, do you think Alton even, like, I don't think he even saw Cyrus did that, like, extended the hand. Or, I guess I would have to go back and watch the show, every time someone comes back from a deliberation, do they go shake the hand of the person who would have been voted in, which in this case, Beth and Cyrus, they get to sort of be put up. I don't know, but it would turn into this big old thing. Laterian put his viewpoint, and in a quick swift, all of a sudden, Alton and Hisela became like, the bad boys of this reality episode. So, let's talk about Alton and Hisela's flirting. I mean, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Cyrus does try to explain why he chose Alton, and some people thought his viewpoint was strong. Others, whatever. But real quick, back to the flirting, because I can't stop talking about the flirting. The song "Ghost Town DJ's My Boo," when Hisela was in the bed with Alton, I thought, good on the production for hitting that song, taking us all back, because a lot of the viewers are around the age of the contestants, more or less 10 years more or less, and so I'm like, oh my god, Ghost Town DJ's My Boo, that was my song, I love that song. And I always love the way Hisela flirts, so I'm like, okay, this is nice. And they're just giving little bits of information to each other, and this definitely makes it kind of cool in regards to the song that is being played. So it has nothing to do with the challenge, but these are the parts that get me excited too, because I like this. I like when it's like heavy challenge, but also personality. Anyways, let's move on to the stuff that we actually care about. Cyrus is preparing for, and also Alton is preparing. This is just kind of what the showdown's going to look like. Now, the elimination, we have Cyrus's men's eliminations, which is going to be Cyrus, and Alton is the one who was picked. However, there is a twist. So this is what I'm saying. Like earlier I said, okay, now there's a lifesaver, now there's no lifesaver. Now there's, you gotta, I know a lot of people who watch and listen to Challenge don't agree with this, but I feel like you gotta give, at the same, I guess what I'm saying is at the same time, expect the unexpected. I think constantly switching things eliminates you as a contestant from planning out your strategy. That's all I'm saying. I'll be joined with some of the other episodes with my brother Richard, and we've done one podcast currently on the challenge, and he's like a challenge fan, like super fan. So some people are like the strategy of that. I kind of don't. Anyways, let's just talk about the twist. So we have a twist, which is going to now put Cyrus and Beth up there with Alton, which I thought it would have been Hisela, but it turns out it's Anissa. So, and the name of the game is called the Over and Under. Suddenly we have the two, a male and a female versus another male and a female. I certainly thought it was going to be Cyrus versus Alton, which to me much stronger and funner, and the stakes were high because they didn't really get along with each other. That would have been better. So I'm not saying that the twist was terrible, but I think it would have been more exciting, because Cyrus is over here talking in his World Wrestling Federation voice, and Alton's just kind of like, dude, I'm gonna fucking win. It's just, I like it, But anyways, I guess the twist made it fun, I suppose. I just don't always love that. But anyways, so you got the over and under. But the only thing is, it's like such a bizarre game because the exact Cyrus issue is the ankle, and the way the game's set up on the over and under is he's got to climb up the little barrier and jump down. I think Derek did from the sidelines. Derek's was like, oh, you can just kind of hold your body weight down and kind of sliver down, which would have worked. But I mean, when you're playing the game, it's so fast. But I just, okay, on one side, determination. Raw. Great, Cyrus, you're tough. Raw. But the other end, what did you do to your ankle? When you got a bad ankle, this is where I differ, or I differ, not defer. This is where I differ from other challenge superfans who want these contestants to put themselves through the craziness. I'm kind of if you got a bad ankle and you're gonna jack this thing up more, on the basis of I have good character and I'm not a giver-upper type, it's and yes, I know that I just said giver-upper, and I'll say it again, giver-upper. You're trying to showcase that I don't ever give up, but it's kind of like those people who say team no sleep. Sorry to break all the bits of information to you, but sleep is valuable to you. So I understand pushing yourself, but I don't understand Like, it's noble, but Cyrus, stop it. But he is a great contestant. I want him on other seasons, that's for sure. Anyways, Alton does win. Cyrus is frustrated, but shows that he wants to be there, which is kind of part of the point, maybe. Maybe that's why he went that hard. So I guess I can say what I just said, but I could also see another viewpoint as well, you know? The thing that got me is like, I want to know more. I want to know so much more about this because the quote that Cyrus does say is "F that mother effer." So I'm kind of like, whoa, like, okay, this sounds like it's going further than the challenge. Like, did Alton say something on a personal level? Like, it just seemed like a lot, and for a person with a bad ankle that you couldn't really compete anyways. So where is this coming from? Or did you assume that this was a great, valuable way to get casted again, which I think can be the truth. Anyways, I do think it was a the part about it though is, this of course pisses Cyrus off, but it takes Beth with him, or vice versa, because Beth did admit that she kind of lagged in the mini challenge. It allows for two people to go home, double elimination. So I just felt like twist on top of double elimination, on top of no lifesaver, yes, a lifesaver. That type of gameplay I don't enjoy as much as a viewer, and I do think, this is just for me, I think that the challenge on the regular MTV with the younger cast should do all of those things that fast. Like, it's almost like low attention span is always like a thing that everyone says. So low attention span TV, low attention span content. So that's probably why they do all the twists and turns on the regular one. But on the older one, just keep it what it is. I gotta say, I think people in their general mindset, they are already doing the twists and turns. They are already trying to be conniving and figuring out how to one up the next. So while throwing in a challenge, you don't give anyone a chance to really react to anything, and you don't get anyone a chance to really strategize. So that's like my opinion that I'm trying to explain. But anyways, it is what it is. But I definitely think going forward, the challenge on Paramount for the Allstars, for an older group, for a different type of show, and I do think they've made great choices as making the show different, such as the music, such as just the style of it all too. It looks more closer to summer camp than what is going on the regular, and I think they could both exist and be completely separate. So that's all I'm really saying. But it was a shocking double elimination, and that like really wrapped up episode 5, gets us excited about episode 6 and just like what the reaction will be of the double elimination. But episode 5, another random recapping the challenge solo for the next couple episodes. But it's a great show. I'm giving it the 5 stars. I really am. I think it's good. Oh, and by the way, give the 5 stars or whatever you need to do while you're listening or watching this, because yeah, it's great. That's what it is. And even if it's not great, just pretend, okay? Thanks. Another random recap. That's it. The challenge, the All-Stars.